Okay. Oh my gosh. We are live. Hello and welcome to Talk Chef. I am one of your hosts, Reka.
I'm your other host, Jordan.
And today we have a very special guest, the very funny and talented Josie Maida.
Hi.
Hi, Josie. We're so excited to have you.
I'm very excited to be here. I took many notes on this episode.
We love a note taker, truly. We really love that. And Josie, before we start the show, you were saying before one of my favorite compliments, which is that you like Top Chef because you watch it with your grandparents. And I kind of like for Jordan and I to provide a similar vibe. If you would watch it with your grandparents. And I think that's similar.
I watched all cooking shows with my grandparents. They are the reason that I am like a foodie, that I'm in love with food. Yeah, my grandpa can eat like no one else. Like there is no man on this. I should record it. He has no limits. He can eat like a monster. You've never seen anything like it.
That's beautiful. That's actually touching.
It is.
Well, before we jump in, couple orders of business. We are still tallying up all of the donations from your generous support for the San Antonio Food Bank a couple of episodes ago, so please stay tuned for that. And second order of business is, Josie, something we didn't tell you, which is that just like every episode of Top Chef has a quick fire, so does every episode of Talk Chef. And it is
I'm ready.
Not cooking based. It is all Josie food and preference based.
I'm ready.
Okay, good. Because it is the fastest quick fire in Top Chef history. It's 45 seconds. So it's
okay. Go. I'm ready.
Doesn't even want to hear the rules.
I'm hyping myself up. I'm ready.
Okay. Josie, just so you know, it's 45 seconds for 10 questions. And most people, not you, but most people need prize incentives. Otherwise, they want us to go fuck off. So one of the prizes you could win is a deed to the Turlato wine vineyard.
Oh, wow.
Have you ever heard of it?
No.
Good.
Wow.
What is that?
Turlato Wine sponsored some amount of seasons of Top Chef and is the wine that Eli ends up picking in the elimination challenge today, where he goes, I picked Turlato. Everyone else was picking candy tasting wines.
He did, and I thought that was so rude.
Yes.
It is rude.
And then the judges didn't even like his pairing. So I was like, that was your comeuppance, babe. You really shouldn't have been so high and mighty.
I think that's beautiful. And I found that so funny because it was so clear that like they had just started chatting with Turlato or whatever, or they had some deal because they kept that in. Like they were all picking the sweet wines and I picked the big dog of the fight, Turlato, a wine that literally no one on earth has heard of.
So obviously in my notes, I did not write down that brand name because they
thought it was doo-doo. They thought it was doo-doo.
Yeah. I mean, I don't even need a prize. I just like talking about myself. So I'm just excited to talk about myself for 45 seconds.
Okay. Well, in case you want to know what else you could win, you can win a deed to your own vineyard. And you can win your own suite of broken GE appliances, just like you see on the show. That's the right attitude. We're talking an air fryer that doesn't get up to temp. We're talking an oven that doesn't get up to temp. We're talking a refrigerator whose door doesn't close. All of that could be yours.
My air fryer is totally broken, so that would be an upgrade. I'm ready.
Okay, beautiful. So Josie, you didn't need any of that incentive, but are you ready for your 45-second quick fire?
Yeah.
The timer will start after Jordan finishes asking question 1.
And Jordan will start asking question 1 when Jordan finishes writing question 8. Give me one. So, Reka, I just realized I forgot to do this. So just like vamp for a second.
Yeah, absolutely. You guys, what's so beautiful is you realize that there's humans behind this. Now, Josie, a question I have for you. If you had to invent your own, do you like wine, first of all?
So it's hard because I love food. I love the history of food. I love like pairing them together. I am not a good alcohol drinker. Like my family does not really drink alcohol. I didn't grow up around it. I have no like shame or meanness towards anyone who drinks. I just don't drink it very often. Like the $6 bottle of wine that's sparkling and tastes like soda is probably my favorite. But I worked at Club 33 in Disney for many years. I like knew a lot about wine pairing. A lot of the people on our team were sommeliers. Like I have a huge respect for it and a huge respect for like alcohol and spirits, but I don't drink it very much.
Okay.
So that was a long-winded question. Answer. I'm sorry.
This is so gorgeous. I love to hear this. Do you have a favorite beverage?
A favorite beverage? Right now, I'm obsessed with mint mojito mocktails.
Oh my gosh.
That's like my go-to for the summer right now, I would say. But I also love Ale 8, which is a soda only found in like Kentucky.
Okay, I love that.
It's like a very spicy ginger ale, but not quite a ginger beer.
Okay, if I was going to ask you, so the original question I was going to ask you, if you were going to have your own wine brand, what would you name it? That could be better than Terlata. But now I'll just say if you had your own, like any beverage, like a soda brand, what would you name it?
Something with bubbles, and it would have the bubble emoji on it because they put their whole, I don't even know how to say like bubbleacy into that emoji. It is so cute. It's my favorite emoji. I want to put it everywhere, but it makes no sense. And I decided literally today that I'm gonna put it everywhere. So probably something with the bubbles, and it would be very effervescent. I love bubbles in soda and soda water. Like I want it to be very carbonated.
I am so with you. Like I do not like soda personally, but if I do, I kind of want just like the first sip or two. That's kind of the painful level of carbonation.
Yeah.
That's what I want.
Ooh, I feel like, but there's already bubbly. So that's probably a bad name for me.
I mean, listen, I think you can kind of do whatever. You know what I mean?
Speaking of doing whatever, I finished. Sorry.
Whoa, impeccable segue. So Josie, are you ready for your 45-second quick fire that will start after Jordan asks question 1?
Yes, I have a bug bite. Sorry. Yes, I'm ready.
Okay. What Disney character out of the entire Disney universe could be a contestant and succeed on Top Chef?
Oh, Remy. Remy from Ratatouille.
Yes. Pigs or Pinot?
Pigs.
What Disney park could have a season of Top Chef take place there?
Epcot.
Michael or Brian Voltaggio?
Michael.
What is the best thing to eat at any Disney park?
Right now, Casey's corn dog nuggets is what's coming to mind.
Disneyland or Disney World?
Disneyland.
What is your favorite crunchy snack?
Ooh, pretzels.
Who is more annoying, Robin, the older woman, or Eli, the young guy?
Robin.
Okay. What city should Top Chef be in next in the world?
Orlando.
How great are Jordan and Reika?
Amazing. 10 out of 10.
You did it!
Oh my God!
It was so hard for me to not stop for some of those.
No, you did great.
Beautiful. I think those answers felt accurate, even though I cannot judge what is accurate for your opinion. I feel like maybe I also can.
No, you can. They are.
Right.
Remy was definitely the right answer.
Remy was good. And then Sean brought up a nice close second is Tiana. If we're going, right? I think Remy's perfect.
That would have been a great answer. Tiana is like one of my favorites, but right now Remy is on the brain. I live, for anyone on here, right behind Magic Kingdom. If we were 5 minutes earlier, you would have heard the fireworks. And they just opened a Ratatouille ride and there's Remy everywhere. And we just bought all these like Remy wishables, which are like these little tiny plushes. So Remy is just very top of mind at the moment. Tiana is great.
What the ride is?
Yes. So it's been open in Disneyland Paris for quite a few years because I went back in like 2014 and went on it. But I always say we because I worked on it, but I don't work there anymore. They opened a ride and it's basically a dark ride and you sit in these little rat vehicles and you go through the story of Ratatouille. There's some screens, there's some props. It's really cool, very state of the art, because it's brand new. But it's a really, really fun, cute ride. It's in the Paris pavilion in Epcot. And it was one of the rides I got to help open while I worked at Walt Disney World. So
wow,
that's very exciting. I will say that I think Remy would be better on Top Chef than Tiana because I think Tiana is the type of chef that is so incredible at what she does, but I think she's like very specific, whereas I think Remy is like
a worldly chef.
A fancier fine dining chef. Like I think Tiana's restaurant is where I would actually want to eat. Yeah. I think Remy would do better on like this like chefy show.
So Sean brings up an interesting point that Tiana would have like soulful food, and Remy would be the French trained chef that has never cooked Indian food. And I think
exactly. Remy is racist. And that's today.
Far and away.
He's gonna sue me.
Gorgeous. So let's hop into this episode.
Wait.
Who is there an animal?
Okay, I'm a crazy person. I was like, darn, I'm so sad I don't have those little plushies I was just talking about, like right next to me. But I do have these from Paris when I went, and they were right next to me. So I just had to show them really quick. Remy and Emil.
Do we think those are life size from how they are in the movie? That's how big?
No, they're tinier in the movie. The wishables I have are probably more like size accurate. But aren't these ridiculous? Like, why do I?
Emil is extremely cute.
Right?
Oh my God.
Anyway, go on. Start the show.
Absolutely beautiful. Okay, quick fire. Create a dish that pairs with everyone's favorite brand of crunchy snacks, Alexia. A brand I've never, ever, ever heard of.
So I've heard of Alexia. I'm actually very familiar because they are a French fry manufacturer, and we just did a frozen French fry taste test at work. But I don't even know if they still sell these things that they're talking about.
I've never seen those onion straws before because your girl would like to eat them.
Yeah, I would totally eat them, as did every single person on. Yeah, I'm looking at it now. I've never seen the snacks. I think I've seen this stuff in the frozen food section.
Yeah. I think that might have been like a one-off thing that like didn't.
Oh wait, these were snacks. These were like chips. They weren't freezer.
They weren't like fries or anything. It was like
I was so like I just assumed they were fries and like all frozen things. Oh, well, that's different. Yeah. I said I would pick the onion straws. And then right before he said like, well, it was kind of the easy pick. I was just kidding. I wouldn't have picked the onion straw. It was like right before he said it. I was like, all of them picked it. It was the easy pick.
So funny. Yes. And Robin picked the jalapeno ones. I want to know what the options were. I wish
that was another thing. I wish they had kind of gone closer, because when they said jalapeno, I was like, oh, I probably would have picked that one. Right? I was like, that one sounds good. Yeah. So that would have been, dang, now that I know that they were chips, I'm a little more impressed with their meals.
Okay. It looks like you're going to have to go back to your notes, start crossing out some hateful words.
This idiot.
This fucking loser made onion something. So yeah, let's run through these dishes. There's also like a very ham-fisted theme of pairing in this episode.
Mm-hmm.
So Eli made a potato clam salad with fennel, celery, and a white truffle sauce.
Unfortunately, I am going to give this a thumbs down, because the idea of a clam salad, while it might be something in some culture, it would have to be sold to me a little bit. I definitely don't want it from Eli.
I just don't like fennel. It's nothing for me about the dish.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not a huge clam fan, but it depends on the preparation. I went to school in New England and there are some, so whatever. But for me, fennel and eggplant are like two things that are no's for me, that like, it's not about the culture or the preparation. It's just two ingredients that for me, my palate, I keep trying to like it and I just don't.
I think clam salad as a concept is sort of frightening to me. I don't know what it means. I'd be willing to try, but it makes me a little sad.
Clam salad sounds like something that someone would say when they're like bullying you in like high school.
They say my face looks like clam salad, or like
shut up, clam salad, because like they think you smell like fish or something.
I'm thinking it's like, like lobster salad or shrimp salad that you get in like a lobster roll at the beach. Okay. So like that makes it sound more appetizing, but because this is like so fancy, and in watching it, I didn't think that was the vibe.
What if it was like little romaine lettuce, chopped up with cherry tomatoes, and then whole clams on top? What would we think then?
I'm gonna pass. Like if it's like a buffet salad, like
that's not even a clam salad at that point. That's just clams with garnish and wilted lettuce.
Reka, okay, I want to know though, since Josie said that she hates eggplant and fennel, what are your two ingredients that you hate, Reka?
Okay, so when we're defining hate, does this mean I will never, ever, ever, ever eat it, or it's just like I'm never gonna really choose it?
So at least in my definition, like I try eggplant and fennel because I want to like them and I like trying new foods. I just never enjoy the taste. I wouldn't say that I don't know. I still try it. Yeah. It's not like I think for me, a never would I ever eat food list is different than like, I just really don't enjoy that flavor.
Okay. Yeah. My I'll try it, but it's done too much to me is zucchini. I've been a vegetarian for over 20 years and she's really been given to me in her worst states. That's what I'll say about her. I'm not going to blame it on her. I'm
Like
going to
slimy?
I'm shown her roasted in a pan on set. I'm shown unsalted. I'm shown ribbons with no seasoning. And I get it. I get that she's not in the best state whenever she sees me. I'm like a doctor.
Yeah.
But I'll give it a chance. I love zucchini fries. I love zucchini bread, but just zucchini, unless it's severely dressed, I don't know. I mean, in the same vein, like a summer squash, that's the same sort of situation. But I ate some last week, so I won't even give that second thought to that. I'll say maraschino cherries. I don't like them.
I don't really like them either. Like if it's like, I don't mind if it's in my drink. I like the flavor it gives, but I don't want to chew it up and eat it.
Yeah.
I like a maraschino cherry. Reka, I will be making you my classic Southern style squash casserole this summer.
I'm gonna come whenever you guys do that.
Josie, fly over and it's delicious. Reka, I think you will love it.
I'm sure I will. I love to be proven wrong.
I think you'll think it's too heavy, but I think you'll like it.
What are your 2 ingredients? Did we just say the same thing at the same time?
My 2, yeah, you guys are in sync. My 2 are matcha. I don't really like matcha, which is a huge point of contention with Reka and I.
Absolutely so fucked up. It's one of my top 10
favorite things. Yeah, I like it in everything. When I worked at Club 33, got one of the chefs to make me matcha creme brulee, and it was phenomenal.
I just don't, something about it, just I've had nice matcha too. I've had matcha flavored desserts. I just never really enjoy it the way I would enjoy something else. And then the second one is, I don't know. Reka, do I have one? Can you help me think? What do I really not like?
You don't like,
I like butter. No, I like peanut butter. I just don't freak for it the way that other people do.
Coffee.
Oh, coffee. Yeah, I don't like coffee. So I guess
coffee doesn't. Coffee hurts my stomach, but I love the flavor. It messes with my anxiety. It hurts my stomach, but I love the way it tastes.
And I think also doesn't believe in fruit as a dessert.
Yeah, I don't think fruit is a dessert.
Fruit straight up as a dessert, or fruit with other things as a dessert.
Like
an apple pie, is that dessert?
No, an apple pie is dessert. Rika, wipe that look off your face. An apple pie is dessert.
Okay.
But I don't think it's as good as a pecan pie.
Or a chocolate pie.
Sure, yes.
Absolutely. I'm a chocolate dessert person. Yes, at the holidays when people bring out the pies, I'm like, okay, where's your chocolate option? I need a bite of chocolate.
Yes. Okay, so you're on my team, and that's good to know. I'm 100% chocolate all the way. And just with fruit, I'm it's whatever. But I would so much rather have a pineapple habanero salsa than a bowl of strawberries with whipped cream on it. That's me.
Okay. Yeah.
Rika, pecan pie is not bad. Okay. You're going to have to come over and I'm going to have to make you a big Southern style dinner with pecan pie and squash casserole, and you're going to love it all.
I believe you. For me, I'm why the fuck am I eating pecan pie? I love nuts. Put nuts in fucking anything.
See, I don't love nuts in anything. I'm particular about what nuts go into. If I want a brownie, I want that soft, ooey gooey. I don't want to be chewing on a nut.
I love a nut in a brownie.
On a nut.
I know it's a terrible opinion, but I don't really like nuts in brownies. Cookies, yes. Oh my gosh, I need to send you guys Gideon's cookies. Those are the best cookies in Orlando, and they come out with a special cookie flavor of the month for each month.
Fine.
And
you insist, send them to us.
June was white chocolate macadamia nut caramel, and the way the caramel was in this cookie, you bit it and it somehow gooed. It was insane. It was unreal. It was amazing.
We are also, you're getting some support in the chat from people who agree with you about nuts and brownies. So even though Reka and I disagree with you, you have fan backing.
I have some people that still believe in you. Okay, next quick fire dish. Kevin made warm bean confit tomato salad with fresh herbs and creamed corn. It's like a take on a green bean casserole. I would eat this.
I think it sounds yum.
Yeah.
Beans as in green beans? Yes. I was thinking like frijoles, like beans.
Oh, sure. Yes, these are green beans.
But I did remember him saying that, and I love that. I love the green bean casserole. I did write that down because my mother-in-law, a beautiful Mexican lady, grew up in Mexico. Like, there is nothing she loves more than a green bean casserole.
Okay.
I make it multiple times a year, like not just for Thanksgiving. Like she wants it all the time.
That is very funny.
Next we have Brian, who made seared ribeye with pickled onions, sauteed mushrooms, and a chive puree.
I'm gonna give this a thumbs down actually, because I think it sounds a little boring.
That's what they said.
This man makes is boring.
They said that it was kind of like a safe dish, but that it tasted really good. And when I looked at it, that was the same thought I had. I was like, you didn't really take a risk, but it probably tastes great.
This looks like hotel food, which is Brian Voltaggio's whole theme. Everything he makes looks like hotel.
I can't believe they let brothers. It took me a second. I was like, whoa. Because I know
brothers on the same.
I know Michael Voltaggio from Young and Hungry, which is this ridiculous show on Freeform that never got a series finale. It drives me crazy. And he was on it. So I was like, Michael Voltaggio. And then I was like, he has a brother? Like.
Absolutely. And they have a sister, if you can believe it. She's also a chef. She's a pastry chef.
What?
Wild.
Yeah. That is wild.
What I'll say, not only do they allow two brothers, they sought them out. I think only Michael applied to be on the show. And then they
were like, hey, you got a brother?
They literally were like, oh, you have a brother? And then they like hit Brian up and they were like, you should be on the show too.
It seems like they don't really like each other that much. Or do they just like bicker, or do they really not like each other?
I think they bicker. I think also Michael's like egging Brian on, like they're both hamming it up a little bit, whatever.
This was also I think this was the first time. They're closer now, but I think when the show shot, this was the first time they had spent like any amount of time together in like a long time, like maybe their whole adult lives.
Yes.
If they put me and my brother on any kind of reality show, it would be a whole different ballgame. That would be awful. Disaster. I mean, it would be great TV, but at what cost?
At what cost? That's the thing. Okay, so Robin made a sweet corn panna cotta with an avocado mousseline. And she had the jalapeno chips. Now, a sweet corn panna cotta, I don't like panna cotta, but that sounds tasty. But then avocado mousseline, I'm like, why is it like mush on mush? And I love
it looks like mush on mush. Like when you read it out loud, it sounds okay. And I love corn. Corn was my first word as a baby. I love corn anything. It was. My first word was corn.
I love that. We love corn on the show. So that's huge.
Yes.
Well, from Jersey, that Jersey fresh sweet corn, like that was my first word. So I've tried corn ice cream. Like if there's a corn thing, I want to try it. But yes, I agree. It was the mush on mush that I was like, ooh, who wants to eat that as a savory dish? I don't know, not for me. Like I
was like, is this a dip for the chips? I didn't know if the chips were incorporated at all. I don't know.
Yeah.
No, thank you.
And then Mike Isabella used the like waffle fry type snack with hot peppers to make chilaquiles. These looked okay.
That was smart. I thought that was creative.
Yeah. He's a little weenie, but yeah.
Yeah, he is a weenie.
Michael Voltaggio made tuna tartare with avocado, pickled onions, and jalapenos. Tartare is whatever, but sure.
Good.
Yeah. And then Ash did chilled cucumber avocado soup with creme fraiche, crab, and red pepper, and he had like kind of the big waffle chips as well.
That sounds pretty good. I would eat that. Yeah.
Yeah. And then Laureen did swordfish with spinach, asparagus, and a fava bean puree.
This sounds good to me.
Yeah, I feel like that's it. But I feel like it sounds like another kind of safe dish.
She is a very boring chef on this show.
Okay. Yes.
So that tracks. And then Jennifer Carroll made sauteed pork chops with tomato sauce and feta cheese.
This looks so good, but when they said how dry it was, and then when he cut it and it looked dry, and she just looked so sad, and I was like, oh, this sucks. This does sound good, but that looked drier than the earth.
Yeah, bless you. Yeah, it's I next time we get a Top Chef contestant on, I want to ask how they determine what order they'll film the chefs in. And I want to know if the edit we see is the actual order in which it happened, or if it's played up for drama.
Oh, I've honestly never even thought about that. It has to be played up for drama, right?
Yeah, I want to know how they keep the food like hot.
They don't, because one of the only things they are not allowed to be judged on is temperature, because they have to reset 2 cameras every time they go to a new person's station. So I'm sure you're waiting for like an hour or something stupid.
See, that must be so hard too, because like any food sitting around for an hour is not going to taste like spectacular.
I know.
Yes. I'm also like, that just messes with like texture and stuff so much. Like I really find it hard to believe. I'm like, how could you judge it without it? And then they never comment on temperature in quickfire, but sometimes they comment on it in elimination.
Yeah.
And even in elimination, I'm still like
if you fry something, how can it sit for that long? Especially if it has like a sauce and you fried it.
Yeah.
I wonder if in a quick fire, it would be better. They already have the style set up, so they wouldn't, I don't know, tune into this episode and listen to me. But if they could just present it to a table, like put it all on one table, so they can try them all kind of closer to the same time. They don't have to keep resetting cameras. If it's like the judges are at a table and they're all trying it there, as opposed to like coming around to each station and resetting, whatever.
Yeah.
As usual, they're not going to listen to me 20 minutes into this live stream talking about how to film their show. Gorgeous. So for this quick fire, on the bottom, we have Robin, Ash, and Jen. On top, we have Eli, Brian, and Kevin, and the winner is Eli. Whatever. So our elimination challenge, they draw knives to see what cut of a pig to use for Charlie Plummer's favorite little piggy event, Pigs and Pinot, which is an event that focuses on pairing parts of a pig with a different Pinot Noir. And they go to the space age wine place where wine angels float up into the sky and take ugly bottles of wine down for everybody to suck on.
My boyfriend used to work in Vegas at the Aria as a concierge, and I was like, did you know that he was like, I never saw that before. He was like, maybe they don't do it anymore. I was like, I don't know.
That's because I remember that from the very first time I saw this season, is that like wine angels thing, because I thought it was so weird.
Very weird. And why is that an attraction for? What does that really truly add to the dining experience?
Nothing.
Like, we send them up there like secret agents to grab your wine. Like, all right.
I'm like, it's probably a health liability if they like fall. And I was like, is this good for the wine? Shouldn't wine be like underground? I literally don't know anything about wine. But
yeah, it feels dystopian. I don't like it because of that. It just like feels too weird. I also think this event is like, I think this event is for like, I'm sure like to raise money for cancer or something. So like, that's awesome. But I think that this comes out of that era of like the man who loves pork, which is like so deeply boring to Reka and I, and like the guy who's like the pig guy. I'm just like, oh, I'm so like over it.
I feel like back, because what year was this in? When was this?
2000, like 10 or something.
Oh, 2010?
Something like that. The first, I think Top Chef premiered in 2006. So this is the 6th season. So maybe
I just feel like back then, I feel like there was this whole obsession with like, I like bacon. I love bacon.
Totally,
everything was like bacon shirts, bacon
tattoos,
bacon as personality,
bacon like glasses, or bacon like mustache. I don't know. Weird bacon stuff.
That's boring. We hated that.
Gorgeous. Okay, so they tried a bunch of Pinot Noirs. Eli picked the Trelato one, which made me laugh. And here are everything that they made. So Michael Voltaggio did a root beer braised pork cheek with a 2006 Cuvasson Pinot Noir. Root beer braised pork cheek sounds good to me.
I think it sounds not only good, but I think he had like a cut that you know, it was random, but it was a cut that was at least a little more interesting. And the root beer thing was interesting because, you know, there are like notes of vanilla, which I know that sometimes the Pinots have in them. So it probably, I don't know, I feel like it was very creative. I at least thought it was very creative.
I'm sold. I was whatever on it, but Josie just convinced me, so I'm sold.
I'm pro. Okay. Ash made chilled pork tenderloin and a 2007 Sanford Pinot Noir. I guess chilled pork tenderloin means nothing to me. I'm like, huh? A chilled, thin piece of meat, whatever. And he also had the weird kind of like, I'm finally gonna cook my food. Da, da, da,
Oh
da.
my gosh. And then his food was still lame.
And then it was doo-doo. Jordan, you know what Discord is. It's that online server where people talk about shit. Like there's a dropout Discord. There's a talk shit Discord.
I didn't know that we had one. I thought
the fans made it.
Was specifically for College Humor. I did not know that it was.
Yeah. It's for like any fan community. So there's like tons of like Dungeons and Dragons people. There's stuff for TV shows, for video games, all that stuff. So there's a Talk Shop one.
In the hell? That's awesome.
Yeah, that's so sweet, guys. I just had to tell you.
Okay, thank you.
Bink bonk bink. Okay, Eli made braised pork belly with a 2007 Terlato family Pinot Noir.
I mean, that sounds kind of boring.
Yeah. I'm even gonna put this down.
It's like whatever. Again, sorry to Terlato and the tortellinis. Kevin made a pork leg pate with a 2006 Sokol Blaser Dundee Hills Pinot Noir. I will say this looks disgusting, but I'm sure it was good.
I'm not a fan of like pates, like meat in that texture. It's probably for me more of a mental thing than a taste thing. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like just the thought of like meat like that just doesn't do it for me.
I get that. Where do you stand on pate, Jordan?
I, as you know, don't really eat pork, but I think I like the concept of it. But you know what I'll say though? I think I like the concept of it more like of it on like a banh mi, rather than just like eating pate with crackers. I think it would be
if it was on something. Yeah, I agree with you, but like just straight up.
Wait, what about with a glass of thick, heavy wine?
Oh,
what was the one that they said looked like? This wasn't the dish that they said tasted like cat food. That was by a girl.
No,
right?
That is Laureen's, which is coming up.
Okay, I'm ready.
Mike Isabella made stuffed pork shoulder with a 2005 whatever Pinot Noir. This I can't pronounce all these. I'm sorry if you're from because Brian made braised pork spare rib with a 2007 Rocchioli Pinot Noir. That sounds good, but
boring, but probably delicious.
Yes,
a classic.
Exactly.
Yeah, I think it sounds fine.
Right. Jen Carroll made braised pork belly with a 2005 Chanson Clos de Bez Pinot Noir.
So they both braised the pork belly?
This is what, you know, and
that's so weird because that's not the way I would think to personally cook pork belly if that's what I was going for, because pork belly has all that fat, and then I feel like when you don't give it a nice sear, when you're cooking it in liquid.
It's also interesting because as we're running through all these, I'm like, oh, all of this would be served in like a new American restaurant. There is no point of view on any of this. Even within American cuisine, all of this is just like vaguely fine dining new American stuff. There's no like, I know who made that dish, you know.
Didn't the one guy
each one of these
one guy make the little meatballs? I don't want to mispronounce them.
Yes. Who made little meatballs?
I think it was it pronounced kibbe?
Oh, the kibbe? Who made kibbe? Oh, Mike Isabella.
You're right.
That was the only thing that I thought sounded like, sorry, I have to wiggle around.
He made kibbe. We hate him, but yes, he did make kibbe, and that is actually cool.
That was the only, but they said it didn't really taste that great. Yeah. But I wrote down in my notes, I was like, they looked really good.
Yeah. Okay. Robin made brined center cut pork chop with the 2005 Mischief and Mayhem Pinot Noir.
It's so hard for me. I can't remember what any of the dishes are when you're describing it, because all I can hear is the insane names of wines.
Right.
Mischief and Mayhem.
We'll get to the little drama too between her and Eli, because that is one of my least favorite parts of this whole season.
That's what I'm here for.
So yeah, that's a forgettable dish from Robin. And then Laureen made a pork butt rillette with a 2005 Chanson Clos de Fèves Pinot Noir. Whatever, this sounds whatever. It's sitting on a bed of greens, and I was told personally by the judges she made it wrong. So
that was so, I literally wrote in my notes, I was like, dude, embarrassing when she called her dish something that it's not and he schooled her. I would cry. That was my exact note.
Upset. And that's the dish that Dana Cowan said tasted like cat food, which is how mortifying.
So not only did they think it tasted like cat food, but she was, I don't know why. I'm not a food snob at all, but when people think a shape of something is different, or like the dish is different than what it is. Like, for example, Renee and I went to a really nice dinner one night. It was like this hosted dinner. Everything was like crazy, really good, but they had a pasta on the kids menu. It was like a mac and cheese made with like ditalini noodles. And they were calling the pasta shape something other than ditalini. And I was like, no, that is ditalini, like 100%, 1,000,000%. I would bet my life on it. It's one of my favorite pasta shapes. And they were like, no, it's, I forget, something else. And it just drove me crazy. So I couldn't imagine doing that on national TV.
Yeah. I never knew. Okay, so this is kind of national TV, and I never knew that ditalini was that. I've had it and I liked it. I like the texture. Didn't know that's what it was called. So kind of embarrassing for me.
It's not embarrassing for you, but like, you're not running a restaurant where you're being very pretentious and like,
yes, I am.
You know.
I am. No, you're totally right. It would be mortifying.
I was like, you guys are just wrong. You're just wrong. Like,
you talk about this in the context of when chefs like openly admit, they're like, well, I've never cooked Chinese food. I've never cooked Indian food. We're like, how embarrassing for you to admit that on TV with the tone of like, well, I shouldn't have to do that. I would be like, oh, unfortunately, I've never really experienced.
I feel like definitely the tone matters. I feel like the only time I cut them some slack is like, we have all these shows now where some people are like chefs, but they're like a home chef, or they really have only worked in like a restaurant in their small town and they got really good at it. Top Chef, I think, is different because they're all pretty much like really classically like trained. So I think
I agree.
And I think I can be vulnerable to say ditalini sounds made up too.
I did. I actually just made it up.
Okay, perfect.
No, it's like the little short, like tube, like really tiny.
Oh, I love my little short tubes.
I love it.
They're delicious. Okay, beautiful. So then we go to judges table. On top, we have Michael, Brian, Kevin, and Jen, and the winner is Kevin for his little pork mush. And on the bottom, we have Ash, Maureen, and Robin. And eliminated is Ash.
Sad.
I was sad. I mean, even just watching this one episode, I was very surprised because his dish was boring.
Yeah.
But it seemed like the other two, they said were like not seasoned at all. And she made that one, it tasted like cat food and she was calling it the wrong thing. So I felt like for like a boring dish, I was like, that I would rather have my food be boring than taste like cat food.
Yeah,
okay,
that's
pop
true.
it in the chat. Pop it in the chat. Would you guys rather have your food taste boring or like cat food?
Yeah, which one? What's your style? Boring or cat food?
Boring or cat food? What's your gender? Boring or cat food?
What's your gender?
Put it in
boring.
Put it in the chat.
Sadly, my gender is cat food.
Yeah. Okay. Sadly, I am also cat food. Incredible. So, okay, let's talk about this little bit of drama that happened too before this stupid elimination. So we get this a sort of unclear fight. Eli's making scallops for the house, and him and Robin get into an altercation about scallions and the use of the scallops and can she have one, whatever. And he screams like a little fucking baby, "You're not my mom." And she's like, "I don't want to be your mom." And it's so fucking uncomfortable to watch someone be excluded and actively hostile, people being actively hostile to her. And that being said, she is being annoying a lot.
I just dropped my phone. I'm so sorry. That was like the loudest thing.
No, you're so fine. I find this whole drama so irritating in both directions. I think
it's very stupid.
Robin is annoying, but they are actively so fucking childishly rude to her too. And
So I lived for the drama just because I wasn't expecting it. I was like, this is fun. When Robin first came on and she was like doing yoga and she was talking about how she had cancer, I was like, oh, I'm rooting for you, Robin. Yeah. So what I thought the fight was about was that he had like cut something up. And she made like, because they had like the thing with the scallions where he was clearly being a jerk. Like she was like, oh, I have some right here. And he was like, that's not enough. Like, dude, but what? But then she made a comment about like, basically like he had like cut something and she was like, well, I'll clean it up. And it was like a backhanded like comment about like, well, I guess I'll be cleaning this up, which is like, you know, always annoying when you live with that roommate where you like just finished cooking. Obviously you're going to eat before like, you know, but I did feel bad. And I also wrote down that I thought Eli kind of seems like a dick.
Yeah.
Yes.
And then I said, they're all dogging on Robin girl.
Yeah.
I feel so bad. It was so awkward when she went downstairs and still ate one of the scallops, like with her fingers out of the pan. No hate to eating with your fingers, but it was just so awkward. Like the whole situation when she came down and ate one after like everyone was clearly being mean to her. I felt bad for her in that moment.
Absolutely. And I thank you for the clarification on the cleaning up thing, because yes, that again, to prove that both of these people are annoying.
Yeah.
It's
both of them. There were multiple times where I was like, y'all are both being ridiculous.
It's just, yes, Christina's pointing out it's been going on all season. It's so fucking annoying. Oh God, everyone just like needs to shut up. And I know they're doing this on purpose, especially early on in Top Chef, where they're all living on top of each other and blah, blah, blah. So obviously, and they're like not allowed to fucking read. And like,
they're not allowed to read?
A lot of these reality shows, you can't bring books, you don't have phones.
You can't do anything. You can't do a puzzle, you can't do a Sudoku.
The only
they really try to like mentally break you.
At least for like The Bachelor, those are the rules. And I know a lot of the reality TV shows employ
Project Runway too.
Yes, the only book you can ever bring is like a religious text, like the Bible.
I wish I had known this, because again, now every time I have the opportunity to talk to someone who is on Top Chef, I'm going to ask them about that.
Please ask them. I hope it's not true.
That sounds crazy. The Top Chef that I recently, my article just published on Yahoo, and it was Dale
Talde?
Yes.
Cool.
And he was very nice. And it was so funny because we talked about pork. And then this episode was all about pork. So I was like, what?
Now, Dale Talde is a great example of someone who was super aggro in his first season of Top Chef, mellowed out, clearly took time and thought and did work and mellowed out. And it was like, great. And now we're fans.
I honestly don't know him other than the piece we did, and he was very nice to me. So
yes. That's
beautiful. On his season, he was just like so mad all the time, and just kind of how like male chefs were until like, I mean, they still are, but like kind of recently, where now we've been like, oh, you can't just like rampantly be a jerk and then be like, we're in the kitchen, this is how it is, you know?
Yeah, absolutely.
So he was very much like that. And then he has really mellowed out. Now he seems like a super nice guy. He came back for All Stars. He was like really nice. I like him now.
Yeah. But yeah, the drama. I have to say, the scallops though that Eli made during this fight looked like the most appetizing dish the whole time. That's what I wanted to eat the most from this episode.
Okay, wow. We love what Eli makes when he's pissed.
They look so good. They had like a perfect sear and they looked really delicious.
Yes, absolutely. Now, Josie, sometimes we like to ask what our guests would have made during a challenge like this. I know you said you're not much of a wine drinker, but are you a pork fan?
Yeah, I mean, I'm a terrible Jew, so I do eat. I don't have a pig tattoo. I don't eat like a ton of pork. It's not always my go-to. So like I like a pulled pork.
Yeah.
And I like pork belly when it's done really well. I think I probably would have gone with like some Asian influence and done like a bao with pork belly.
Ooh,
because that's how I always like it best prepared, like with a nice sear on it. So it's really like fatty and delicious, and then really bring up some acidity to meet that fat when have some fresh like scallion, and I don't know. some kind of soy sauce, ginger, garlic, some nice spice in there, and then a really soft bao, which I don't even know how to make that. So this is like in my world, but that's what I would make. That's how I like it. That's how I like to eat pork belly the best, I feel like.
That's beautiful. We love that. And let's see if you have any questions for Josie. We have a little bit of time left. Drop them in the chat.
Well, I want to know. Oh, Reka, you have
you go. You go.
No, Reka, you go. Reka, go.
Okay. I was going to ask, what is your favorite meal you've ever had?
That's really hard. I feel like these questions, like you always think of like the perfect answer later, but what is coming to my mind right in this moment is what I'm going to go with. And when I was studying abroad in college, I lived in Florence, Italy. And there was this bistecca alla Florentine is like the really popular dish in Florence. So I think this giant steak. And there was this little hole in the wall restaurant, and all of my teachers like separately said that that's where I should go to get it. Wow. And it was in the market, and it literally, they had a paper menu outside the restaurant and like would put it out each day and cross things off. You could only drink water. You could not drink like a Coke or a soda or a juice. Whoa. Or only water. Maybe they served wine. I don't remember. Yeah.
Okay.
But they would bring you in and you would have to sit at like a table with like whoever. Like it was very, very small. And I was literally taking pictures of the tiny little kitchen because it was like clear glass. And the chef was like, oh, come in, and like took a selfie with me and let me like film all up in the steaks. Like I wish I knew what I know about social media now, because I would have made like such a cool video for the purpose of like my memories. Like this was an amazing moment. And I had this really cool like vegetable soup and the beef stecca, and it was just delicious and such like just a different foodie experience than we have here in America. Like you never eat at tables with like random people, especially not since COVID. And it was just this like very, very tiny hole in the wall place that had been there forever. And it just felt very special. So that's definitely awesome. Up there.
I love that.
Yeah.
I want to know what the worst thing you've ever eaten at Disney is.
Ooh.
Oh my gosh. Easy. So my beautiful baby Epcot, my office is Epcot themed. Like everything behind my computer up this way is Epcot. Like it is, I love Epcot. It's where me and my boyfriend met. Yeah. So what'd you say?
Oh, we said, oh.
So they do different festivals for all different times of year. And there's basically a festival, like my earring came open. There's basically a festival like at every part of the year right now. And they have a flower and garden festival, and they have a stand where it's called Trowel and Trellis, and they do like vegan. It's all vegan food. And they made this like a chocolate lavender pot de creme. And I thought I was going to love it because I love lavender and I love pot de creme. And I was like, okay, this is going to be amazing. Like, great. And I took a bite and it tasted like straight up dirt. Like it tasted like dirt. It was so bad. I don't think it's back this year. This was last year, and I don't think they brought it back. But I knew one of the chefs who was in that booth at that time because of like from working there. There are a couple I know, and I would have went back up anyway. But I went up and I was like, Pedro, I was like, this is terrible. And he was like, I know. He was like, it's so bad, right? And I was like, yeah, it's really, really bad. And he was like, yeah, we can just give you something different. So that's a good thing at Disney. Like you can, I mean, I'm not telling you, there are people who are jerks and will go around and say they don't like something just to get free food, like anywhere. But like they want to make you happy. So it's no skin off their back. If you really don't like something, to go up and just be like, hey, I'm so sorry. Like if I didn't know him, I wouldn't have been like, this is disgusting. It was someone I was friends with. So like I felt comfortable being like, this is not it. But yeah, that was the worst thing I've ever had at Disney. And they gave me something else. So it was no big deal. It was so bad. It tasted like dirt. And again, I love lavender. I eat lavender everything.
I popped it. What came up in the chat, was that it? Because that doesn't look like a pot de creme. That looks like a bar.
It did not. I don't think that was it. No, The bar was something else that I think they had at another. It like came in like I wish I could remember. It came in like a pot. I don't think that was it, but they've had it for multiple years and they changed what it looked like. So that could have been it one year, and then the year I had it was different. But this one they served in like a little, like they wanted it to look like a little flower pot because that's like the theme of Trowel and Trellis.
Yeah. Wow. Okay. We're too wise. Think twice before trying this.
I don't think they brought it back this year. So
Thank God.
Bullying works.
Beautiful. Well, Jordan, did you have any other questions for Josie?
I just want to know, like, first of all, I just want to say everyone needs to go follow Josie on TikTok
Very sweet.
and Instagram right now. We met through TikTok and now we're friends and it's so great. Her content is just so wonderful and so fun.
Very sweet.
So definitely go follow her. But I just want to know, like, what you, like, how you kind of got into that space, because now you're like a really successful food writer and food content creator, and kind of how do you take the steps to get there?
It's been a very weird, wonky journey, but I'm thankful for all of it. I went to school for PR and comms, and I worked in content creation at Disney, and like for a couple of different agencies, I had done content creation. And so once I was laid off during the pandemic, I was furloughed and then laid off, and I was watching a lot of TikToks. And originally I was like, oh, this is gonna be just like Vine and Musical.ly. Like, I'm not gonna make content on here. And then I kept watching food TikToks, and I'm very passionate about food. And I had an Instagram that I had done Disney stuff on, but the Disney community can sometimes be like not super nice. And I've made my peace with it, but a couple of years ago, it was hard when I first moved here. But anyway, I was like, okay, maybe I'll get back into like posting on socials and do like food this time and do it on TikTok and just for fun. And I remember I made a thank you video for when I had 500 followers. So I was so excited. But I just kind of started like posting the cool food I ate, and that was really it. I just remember seeing videos of other people that were doing really well on the platform, and like, I am a women supporting women, people supporting people person, but I was just like, I feel like I could do that better. Like, I'm watching this and I like it, but I feel like I could do it better in my way and different. And so yeah, that was kind of it. And it just was something fun for us to do, to go to different places to eat. Disney wasn't open, and now I can do Disney food on there too. So that was really it. And then the food writing kind of just, I, was lucky to meet my editor, who took a chance on me and knew that I had done a lot of internal writing for Disney. So I didn't really have a portfolio I could share for writing, because everything I did was, property of Disney and was internal. And so I was lucky that she took a chance on me, and I kind of built up my portfolio and repertoire with her writing parenting content, but she knew that I really wanted to do food. And again, I was super lucky that she started taking those chances on me. My first food story was about a restaurant that was recreating like 80s pizza. And they were recreating it from like an 80s USDA cookbook. It was a really cool story. And then right after that, I got to meet Richard Blaze and be a part of an interview with him. And so, yeah.
That's awesome.
That's the short version.
That's awesome. And I'm sure so helpful to so many of our fans who love food and want to know how to get involved.
Yeah, my DMs are always open. Always happy to help other people looking to do fun food stuff.
Yeah, if people want to see more from you, do you have anything you want to plug, projects or just handles, whatever?
Yeah, so I'm at Josie Maida on everything. I should have updated my name I think on here it's showing up as Josephine. I don't know if they can see that, but yeah, it's at Josie Maida on everything, TikTok, Pinterest, the whole gambit. And then the only thing, I work on, we do a podcast. It's just a Disney history podcast. So it's really different from my foodie content. It's kind of like a fun little passion project. And it's called the Carousel Project. We talk about Disney history through the lens of marketing and PR. And so it's really fun. We talk about like the weird stuff that no one remembers. So
it's just fun. Like a brief example, before we wrap up?
Yeah, of course. So everyone's favorite episode, I feel like, is always River Country. I don't know if y'all know what River Country is, but back in the day when Walt Disney World had just like one park and wasn't really that big yet, they built River Country. So Magic Kingdom is like here, and then there's a man-made body of water in front of Magic Kingdom, and the monorail goes around it, that monorail loop, and it's like the Polynesian, the Contemporary, and the Grand Floridian. So it's like these three hotels and then Magic Kingdom in this loop, and then this man-made body of water. And they put a water park on that man-made body of water, and it had like a purification system. It was really cool. It was super, super cool, super high tech. It is the first like water park theme park that ever existed, where it was like very themed.
That's cool.
And Disney abandoned it for many years. And like, it was just like abandoned pretty much in plain sight for like 15 years. And urban explorers went into it, and there's like all these theories about why it closed. And so we did a deep dive on that. And every season when we like ask our fans what they like no matter how many seasons, that's always the one they love. And we also did one since this is food on the McDonald's and Disney partnership. So that was a fun foodie one that we got to do.
That's awesome. Oh my God. Okay. Well, check out Josie's podcast, The Carousel Project. Josie, thank you so much for joining us on.
Thank you for having me. I will come on anytime. This was so much fun. This is a blast.
Actually, I'm hearing something from a Bravo producer. What? Whoa, seriously?
They want me.
This is literally crazy. This never happens. But Josie, there's a Bravo producer here.
Yeah.
And they said to tell you, you are top chef.
Yes. I'm going to use my new power wisely. I'm going to open a cotton candy burrito restaurant here in Orlando with my Top Chef powers.
Perfect. Yes, that is exactly what we want you to do, because a lot of people don't realize this, but there are 2 ways to become a top chef. One of them is to be on the reality cooking competition show, Top Chef. And the other is to be on this YouTube live stream visual podcast for charity hosted by Reka and I.
Yeah, this was easier. And I didn't even have to tell you, I didn't have to make vow. I just had to tell you about it. You know what I mean? So like that was way easier to conceptualize, you know?
Yeah. Literally.
They should all just do this. This is
cooler. I kind of don't know why they haven't moved to vodcast format.
Let's cancel Top Chef.
There are a lot of
finally. Incredible. Well, thank you so much for joining us, Josie, and thank you guys for watching and for having that Discord. That's so sweet. Sorry, literally forgot it existed, but now I've joined. Jordan will join, and thank you so much for being awesome fans. We will see you next time.
Go follow Josie on social media.
You're so sweet. Bye.